Most real estate agents would get more leads and more business if they actually started doing less. And what I mean by this is essentially is that there's a lot of people in the industry that talk about grinding, that talk about working those extra long hours, that talk about really everything under the sun, right? Just doing those things to get more clients. Agents are trying new tools, they're trying new techniques, new scripts, they're trying lead platforms, call scripts, all these types of things. And these people have it completely backwards. And I know this because I used to be that person. I would used to try to find all these different things, try to do all these different things, build all these different systems. But at the end of the day, when I look back to it, right, I realized that my time was actually spent learning how to do all these different things instead of actually doing these things, which is actually pretty crazy. But that's exactly what happens when you try to do so many new things all at the same time. And most agents, most of your time really is getting wasted doing things like this. It's based on switching from one thing and going to the next thing, and you really, instead of doing one thing really well, so what happens is that you really end up you're wasting a lot of your time and also ultimately missing out on opportunities. So the secret is to do less. It's just to get rid of most of the things you're doing right now during your day, and you want to get as many things off your plate as you possibly can. You know, because we only have finite amount of energy in our days, we have finite amount of hours, and we all have pretty much same exact amount of time. And if you're not spending that time, you're not spending that energy you have on a daily basis, and you're allocating it to multiple different directions, right? Well, what happens is that you are going to make some progress, but you make very little progress in each of those directions you want to progress towards. But when you do get rid of most of the things, right, that are taking your time, that are taking your energy, and you only focus on that one thing you want to progress at, or very few set of things, right, you make a lot of progress in that direction. So most realtors are trying to do too many different things all at the same time, and that's again not getting them really anywhere, or that's getting them really somewhere like very slowly. And the people who just get rid of those different things, get rid of those trivial things, and just focus on a set of key actions that are the highest leverage activities that actually do move that needle in their business, they're usually the one that make that massive progress and ultimately make a lot of revenue in their business. And these are the things, if you see a top producer that you hear about, I'll give you an example. Now I work with a lot of realtors, and the biggest thing I see people waste time on is really actually not something related to business, it's related to their personal stuff. So they're either like driving around the city to this client, to that client, they're showing a lot of houses, doing open houses, or consuming so much content on their social media and phones and the internet during the day. So really when they look back at their day, maybe like 1 or 2 hours was actually spent doing the stuff that gets them results and the clients. So those things are pretty much the first things that you want to get rid of as much as you can. If you see an activity in your business that takes a lot of your time but really doesn't produce you anything, again, such as driving around the city, showing houses, doing those open houses, even though those things can kind of get you results here and there, but really you can do something else that's going to get you a lot better results a lot quicker, right? You get 2 times the work done compared to the typical agent you're going to be going up against. Same applies to your business, right? If you're structuring your business right now where you have a lot of a sort of like empty space in your calendar, or you have to drive around, or again do open houses, things like that, ask yourself the question, right, is that generating you revenue as effectively as it could? So when most people actually think about their work days, right, let's say they work for 8 hours a day, right? Well, they're actually just working like maybe 2 hours a day to 3 hours a day as far as like what's actually getting the results, because most of that time goes into these distractions or like empty activities that are not actually the important things. So if you think about it, how many things are you doing right now on your typical day? Where does your attention, where does your energy go? And a useful framework to use for this is to break up your activities into 2 different things. You want to break it down to client generation activities and also service delivery activities. And you want most of your time to be spent on these 2 things, activities that directly help you either get new clients, get new appointments, and activities that help you service your clients to help them get the most optimal outcome possible. And I can tell you that most people are not spending even 30% of the time on these things. Then in the diagram I showed you earlier, even when most people, when they are spending time on these 2 things, they're usually spending it very sporadically. So one realtor might be doing 10 different things to try to get more clients. They try to put out some mailers, calling expireds, they do circle prospecting, signing up to different lead generation tools, they're posting on Facebook, creating videos, and if they're doing all this stuff, which is kind of correct stuff, right? But none of these things gets really done really well, right? To the point, right? To the T, where it would produce you significant results. Same thing with service delivery. So many agents out there work with all kinds of people with every types of homes, upsizers, downsizers, buyers, first-time buyers, sellers, relocations, probates, and they're doing all these different services. And because of that, right, their process for helping their client to achieve the outcome that they want is not really world-class for any of these people, so they can't really get great results. And then they end up in a situation where they don't have a clear track record of incredible client results for specific people. So, and because of that, right, it's very difficult to market their services for a particular group of people to get them interested in working with them. It really harms their business in the long run extremely badly, because even though, right, they're getting new clients through all these different types of people, so it's very difficult again to market those referrals and market those results for other people. So even though they're kind of great realtor, right, they're a smart person, it's not about that, right? It's just a question that the business is set up the wrong way. So with your client generation, in addition to working with your sphere, in addition to working with your past client base, right, find your core method for how you want to get new clients outside of that. And then when you find that method, don't try to find 10 more, right? Go really hard at that one thing, get really good at it, and spend most of your time just on that one single thing. And when you are getting clients, if you focus on a specific niche, a certain type of a client, you'll be able to fine tune and perfect your service process for them specifically to get really great outcomes over and over again. And that then will make your client generation a lot easier. So it becomes kind of a feedback cycle that helps you grow a lot faster and faster over and over again. So if you do this and you don't get pulled into those shiny objects and these distractions, right, these 10 different directions, it's going to be very easy and very actually simple, because again, most people are being pulled in all these different directions. So when you do that one thing, right, it's going to allow you to get results that a typical agent would never see in 10 years. And this is the reality, and the statistics also back this up. The vast majority of agents are only listing few listings per year, and a small percentage of agents represent the vast majority of the transactions that are happening on any given year. So it's the 80-20 law here in action, and the same applies to your marketing. 20% of the activities you do will produce 80% of the results. 80% of the activities you do are just giving you 20% of results. So get rid of that 80% of activities and only focus on that 20% that drives the 80% of the results.